Odin Valhalla Rising is a Korean MMORPG that released all the way back in the middle of 2021. I covered the game quite extensively from their announcement all the way up until their release. The game specifically launched within South Korea and remained in South Korea, with the studio behind the game alluding to wanting to release outside of Korea globally, perhaps at some point in the future. Now fast forward almost 2 years later, evidently that still hasn't happened. I have continued to cover Odin Valhalla Rising. I did a video discussing how it went on to have monolithic success of gargantuan proportions when they launched to over $100 million in their first month alone, and how they continued to defy all logic and remain one of the most popular MMORPGs within Korea, but at the same time, how they also went on to implement autoplay, auto combat in their game, absolutely ruining the experience for me, with that auto combat also largely being a detriment to the potential success, or rather the failure of the game in the West. Because let's be honest here, Western players, we just don't like autoplay in our games. And you might be wondering, okay, so what? Well, the studio behind Odin Valhalla Rising made 2 different Facebook posts over the course of the last 2 weeks. And I was specifically tagged in those posts, urging me to investigate, see what they were talking about, why they were tagging me, what was so important. One, they have another MMORPG announcement, Project Q. Project Q will be a seamless 3D MMOGRP. I'm assuming they just didn't spell check this when they made the post. For both PC and mobile, it will utilize Unreal Engine 5 and will be a spin-off of Odin Valhalla Rising. Now I know you're looking at this and thinking, PC and mobile, that means that the game is probably going to be shit, right? Yeah, the game is probably going to be shit. But that's also generally what I thought of Odin Valhalla Rising when they released it in Korea. But before we go ahead and touch on Project Q, I want to instead read through and discuss what they have to say about the global version of Odin Valhalla Rising, which is an MMO that we are still waiting for. Before we go ahead and talk about Odin Valhalla Rising though, I want to take a moment here to thank our patrons over on Patreon. You guys allow for me to continue to research and do videos on MMOs, on games like this, so I deeply appreciate that. Also, if you have a moment, consider following me over on Twitch. I stream there every single weekend. All right. General concept for global version. To avoid misunderstandings in the future, we'd like to inform you that in terms of gameplay, graphics, and everything else related to the global version of Odin Valhalla Rising, our goal is to make it a PC game that also has a mobile version / port. Not that it is a game made for mobile that has a PC port. Not a game that is built cross-platform compatible. Rather, a game that is built for PC and then ported on over to mobile. That is a drastic contrasting difference to what we saw when they released this game in Korea. That is a drastic contrasting difference to the vision that they had when they released the game. In addition, there will be 2 different UIs, one built specifically for PC and one built for mobile devices. Also, please remember that only the PC version will have upgraded graphics we're currently working on. So they're also taking the game, overhauling the graphical engine specifically for PC. So the game is going to continue to look like crap on mobile, but look phenomenal on computer, which is what I'm assuming will be the case, because honestly, this was supposed to be direct competition for Black Desert Online. When they showed the trailers for it, when they showed gameplay for it, it did genuinely look really good. So if they actually go on to enhance the game aesthetically and visually, the game is going to look even better on PC. Or they might just add something like some additional shaders or anti-aliasing or something, because this is Korea after all. The reason is that we wish those who play on mobile devices to have a smooth gameplay experience that is optimized for such devices. Judging from the image below, it looks like the Archmage and the Defender are in big trouble. We're working on the global version as fast as we can so that global risers will be able to help them as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience and for your understanding. So not only is global 100% confirmed, but an enhanced PC version of the game is coming out that is targeted towards PC gamers, the PC platform, and not mobile. I mean, that's promising to hear. That's, I think, a step in the right direction. I think all cross-platform games should be built for PC initially and then technically ported on over to mobile if they want mobile cross-platform functionality. Now, concerning Project Q, some global risers may wonder, why are we announcing a spin-off to Odin Valhalla Rising when the global version of Odin Valhalla Rising still doesn't have a release timeframe? Project Q won't be released before the year 2025. Oh my god. So this spin-off isn't coming out for a minimum of 2 years. Wow. Okay. This is our goal and it may change in the future. Also, while Odin Valhalla Rising and Project Q do share the same universe, they have many differences as well. By sharing some information on Project Q, we hope the global risers will be able to know more about each game and decide the one that fits their personal taste in terms of gameplay, lore, and other elements. While we still can't reveal much about gameplay, we can tell you that it won't have the same camera angle as Odin Valhalla Rising. This may lead some global risers to choose Odin Valhalla Rising over Project Q, and vice versa. So I wonder then, is Project Q going to take a top-down isometric perspective, something akin to like Lost Ark then? The lore and story of Project Q are going to take a major dark twist compared to the one presented in Odin Valhalla Rising. Not only will it feel darker, more mature, and more violent, it'll explore more complex themes. The story of Odin Valhalla Rising is about a hero that tries to unify the different moral races in order to help the Asgardian gods and their allies to fight Loki and his minions. Project Q will go in a different direction. There will be many inner struggles between different groups of humans. The mortal races are more divided than ever, both among themselves and among other races as well. Even the gods of Asgard will have differences and disagreements among themselves. The creators of Project Q are creating a game that is even more accurate with the source materials of Norse mythology, the Poetic Edda, and the Prose Edda when compared to Odin Valhalla Rising. They've also incorporated some of the feedback we got from global risers on this Facebook page. For example, some risers have complained about the limited options regarding male characters in Odin Valhalla Rising. As you can see in the first image, we balanced it a little bit. In addition, we tried to give the characters a style that better represents the dark and gloomy atmosphere found especially in the Prose Edda. We believe that global risers will have enough time to play Odin Valhalla Rising before Project Q comes out. We do, however, hope that by giving some information about each game, each and every riser will be able to choose the game that best fits them. We will share more information about Project Q, including images and videos on this Facebook page and our YouTube channel, so stay tuned. Now, they did attach two images to this Facebook post, and specifically concerning Odin Valhalla Rising, I know I mentioned that the game has auto combat and autoplay in it. At some point last year, the studio announced that they were going to be removing autoplay from the global version. So not only do we have a game that has enhanced graphics for PC, it is also going to feature no autoplay, no auto pathing, and is essentially going to be an entirely altered incarnation of the game. And I think that could potentially be really good. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see, evidently, but this game is coming out globally at some point in 2023 or 2024. They did say we'll have sufficient time to play this before the release of Project Q in 2025. So I'm assuming that's roughly, at least half a year, maybe a year off. Now, if neither Project Q or Odin Valhalla Rising are MMOs that you're interested in, absolutely no problem. I got you covered with 2 different videos on screen right now. One featuring a list of every MMO coming this month. The other featuring another MMO that is actually launching in the very near future that MRSSSTIX played that she actually had some fun in.